Your customer, your prospect wants to be a hero. They want to feel like a hero. They want to feel like they went through the hero's journey and they prevailed in the end. They want to feel like a champion. They want to feel on top of the world. But right now, they don't feel like a hero. They feel like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to achieve this thing that I want to achieve. I'm not going to solve this problem that I want to solve. I'm not going to live the life that I want. I'm not going to create the destiny that I desire. I'm not going to be a hero. And one of the most powerful copywriting secrets that you can learn, well, I'm giving it away right now, that your job in selling and in copywriting and in marketing is to help your customer rewrite their story of from this place of, I don't think that I'm going to be the hero I want to be, to I am going to be the hero that I want to be. And when you can do that, like so much else about copywriting, marketing, selling, all falls into place. We'll get into the details of how to do that in just a second. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, engage with this episode in every way that you can so you get more content like this delivered to you, including my content going forward. All right, so let's dive into what it takes to rewrite your customer story. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. Okay, quick reminder before we talk about how to rewrite your customer's story, how to help them rewrite their story. Today's episode is, of course, sponsored by me. And specifically, if you're watching this when it comes out, tomorrow, or listening, tomorrow, I am doing a webinar on how to create breakthrough big idea copy. This is the type of copy that moves your customer from wanting to be a hero to feeling like a hero, with your product, your service, your offer being a critical tool and guide that takes them on that hero's journey. So check the link in the description. That's tomorrow, January 27th, 2022 at 2 p.m. US Central Time. The link is in the description to sign up for that. Hopefully you caught this in time. Otherwise, just stay tuned for this. It's going to be valuable. Like every day, I aim to grow your marketing genius through these free daily episodes. So stay tuned for that. So how do you rewrite your customer story? How do you help your customer become the hero that they want to be? Well, number one is about, like, if you change the belief, you're going to change the story. If you change the story, you're going to change the belief. You have to know where you want that belief to go. You have to know the new story that your customer wants to have be their true story. And so right now, if their story is, this is impossible, this is too hard, I can't do it, then the new story is, this is possible, I can do it, it's going to be easier than I thought, right? If the story is, I have this big problem, the new story becomes, I found the solution. If the old story is, I want this thing, I have this desire for this thing, or this outcome, or this life that I want to live, well, the new story is, I'm fulfilling that desire. And so we're changing the story, we're changing the belief, we're going from this place of, I don't think that this is possible, to this is possible. And importantly, everybody expects obstacles to come up. Everybody expects that there are going to be reasons that pop up where they can't succeed. And your job is to help them identify those ahead of time, such that when they run into those obstacles, they knew to expect them and they know how to get around them. And good copywriting is going to do this through things like stories, right? But it's very specific types of stories. It's the story of the person who went there first. It's somebody else's hero's journey, who went through, who felt like this was impossible, who found out it's possible and is now sharing the way, who had the problem, who developed the solution, and who is now sharing that solution, who had the desire, who fulfilled the desire, and who is now helping other people fulfill that desire. And importantly, who understands the obstacles that you're going to run into and how to knock them out, how to get rid of them, how to have them not slow you down or stop you. And so it's about showing your prospect through your messages what that journey looks like for other people. And that other person could be you, if you are the founder of your business, if you're the person that invented whatever product or service or created whatever offer, right? It could be your story, or it could be somebody else's story. It could be somebody else who went through that exact same journey where the prospect is able to see themselves in this person. The prospect is able to recognize this person went through this journey, and I can see myself going through the journey just like them. So for me, like some of the my secret hero stories, right? Like here's an example of this, right? When I graduated college, I had a degree in psychology, and I knew, number one, that an undergrad degree in psychology was not going to get me any kind of great job. It doesn't. You have to get a master's, PhD, if you want a great job with a degree in psychology. Number two, I knew that I did not want to work in a cubicle farm. I knew that I didn't want to work in a big office building that was just full of cubicles. And yet somehow with that degree in psychology, I landed in the customer service call center at the local gas company, answering calls of people who were upset because they hadn't paid their bill all winter, and then their gas service got shut off and they needed somebody to yell at. So I was the guy answering those calls. And it was definitely feeling like, oh, whatever desire I had for my future was maybe a little bit impossible. But I still wanted freedom, and I didn't want to go work in some cubicle job, and I didn't know what I was going to do. But then I discovered copywriting, and specifically direct response copywriting. And I figured out that people can actually get paid for the results that they generate. And if they generate better results, like there's huge opportunities in that. And suddenly my story was rewritten from impossible to possible, from desire to have freedom to fulfillment. Now, I knew that it was still like there was a long journey ahead of me, but as soon as I recognized that that was my new story, I pursued it. And actually, within a few months of discovering copywriting, I landed a full-time job writing marketing. And ironically, I still worked in a cubicle, but I increased my freedom, and it was also a much more entrepreneurial company. So it wasn't that cubicle farm feeling that I was afraid of. But I increased my entrepreneurial freedom. And then within a few years, I was able to launch my full-time freelance business. And I really have had the freedom ever since then. At this point, I'm recording this and it's about 2 p.m. and I'm actually going to go pick up my kids from school soon. And I have incredible freedom that I was able to rewrite that story through copywriting. There's another secret hero story that I have that maybe is not nearly as far progressed, but I'm a non-musician who loves music. And in fact, I've DJ'd and I was a pretty good performance DJ, but performance DJs, that's a certain lifestyle that was never something that was going to become like a full-time thing for me, right? But I've also produced music on the side since about 2000. And I've produced some music that I really like, but I have this whole evolving hero's journey story of myself that I am going to produce amazing music. And I find myself in the middle of this right now, that the story that is changing in my head is, here are the secrets to composing and creating great music. And if you discover these secrets to composing and creating great music, you too can find it easy to compose and create great music. And so my story of my possibility as a musician, even if it never becomes an income for me, is completely shifting. And I find myself, as I'm going through this shifting story, I find myself very open to offers along the lines of that. So you can make music so much faster and easier is something that I'm like, whoa, like, oh, you can make music that sounds like music for the movies if you just understand these 3 chord progressions or whatever, right? Like it's stuff that resonates with me because it's part of my story that's being rewritten right now. And by marketers being intentional about presenting this new story about, if you understand how to write music like Max Martin, you could create hit music, right? If you understand these chord progressions, you could write music like you hear in Hollywood films, right? Like these different pitches that are largely variations of that it's, if you have this desire, this is what you need to do to fulfill it. That's the stuff that's resonating with me right now as I'm going through this journey, just like for copywriting, like discovering, oh, certain big ideas are the secret to writing copy that really resonates on a mass market basis, or understanding the underlying structure of copy that converts is the secret to being able to write this long form sales copy that you see and you're like, how the heck do they write 7, 8, 9, 10,000 words that keep people engaged? Well, it's because they understand this underlying structure. And so these stories that we tell ourselves about, oh, this is impossible. Oh, but if I figure out this thing, it becomes possible. This problem is unsolvable. Oh, but there's a solution. This desire, like I can't figure out how to fulfill this desire, but now I've figured out if I just follow this method, right? It has us very open to buying as we're going through that transition process. And then it's just a matter of the deep structure of the copy that you write, where you're actually walking someone through that process, where you're changing the big story with the big idea that you have in your marketing message. But then you walk people through that buying decision-making process, like, oh, this is possible. Oh, people like me have succeeded at this. Like people who've been in my situation or worse are suddenly doing better. Right? And hey, I can succeed too. All I need to do is follow these directions, right? That's a very, very common and powerful buying decision-making process that we go through, but also sales process. It's a proven sales structure. And of course, you can get much more detailed in terms of the copywriting templates. But when you focus on this high level, like how are we going to shift the story? How are we going to change the story to change their belief? That's when we get people following us and excited to take action, excited to pull out their wallet and give us money. And when you are a copywriter or a marketer and you understand how to do this, that's when you can create some massive, massive winners. And as I mentioned earlier, I am doing a webinar. If you're catching this right as this episode is coming out, you're going to be able to join me live on this webinar. I can't promise that there's going to be a replay, but if you're catching it when it comes out, you can check out the link in the description. You can register for the webinar. You can join me on the webinar, and I'm going to teach things like the 3 big idea types behind pretty much all great marketing that actually resonates with a large scale audience. My upseen test, which is a way to figure out if the big idea that you have or what you think might be a big idea is really the kind of idea that's going to move a market. And in that proven structure of what to say next after you introduce the big idea to actually move someone to that point of making a purchase. So check out the link in the description if you'd like to learn more about that. I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I hope you see the power and value in this lesson for you today, this copywriting secret of belief shifting. And of course, if you dive into that free web class, that webinar through Zoom, you're going to learn so much more and you're going to discover so much more about how to write this type of copy. So I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I always aim to grow your marketing genius with every single episode. And if you apply this, I think that will have happened here today as well. And I look forward to catching you again in the next episode. I'll see you soon. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.